Hello viewers and welcome to part 17 of the Clueless Cat Does Final Fantasy XIV story playthrough as per requested by Twitch viewers. More bad monotone dialogue incoming. Now where we left off, chasing Roaille. My thanks for coming, Scion. I have spoken with the soldiers here. They say that Roaille walked through the camp not a bell ago. Aye, she walked right through. You did not mishear. We have Robon's decision to keep the matter secret to thank for that. Bad for morale, he said. As a result, not a single flame in the garrison made any attempt to detain her, and so here we are. Roaille must not be allowed to reach Castrum Meridianum. I'm just going to teleport there. This wretch with his Roaille, he threw himself at us that his mistress might escape. She didn't blink when we cut him down, not even when he started screaming. No loyalty even to her own. The goddamn heartbeat. Pfft. With me, Scion, we almost have her. Time to kill all the things. Bind her and do it tight. Yes, sir. Good work, men. She and her Imperial cronies pushed us close, but we were better. Behold, a respected officer of the Immortal Flames. People looked up to you as one of the Order's founding members, one of its pillars. It saddens me to see you fallen so low. Huh. What would you know of low? You, a spoiled little lordling who has never known any want. People such as you take wealth and birth for granted. You think it your God's-given right to rule over others. You know naught of our plight, the injustice that we low-born Ishgardians must endure. To the noble lords and ladies, we are not people, but resources to be consumed. I did what I had to survive, stealing, killing, even, not gonna say that word on stream myself. It is no fault of mine if fools imagine me a paragon when I join the flames. To hear you tell it, one would think you the only person ever to have suffered. In case you have forgotten, Roban himself was born into poverty. As was I. We live hand to mouth with little more than the shirts on our backs. Hunger was our constant companion. Yet never did we bemoan our lot in life, nor did we begrudge others their fortunes. We accepted the hand that we had been dealt and played it to the best of our ability. Life was a battle, aye, but no matter what fate threw at us, we took it on the chin and came back for more. Everything we have, we fought for. How were we any different then? 'Tis true that we were both mercenaries of lowly birth, and 'tis true that we both had our fair share of struggles. But whereas I sold my sword, Marshal, you sold your comrades. If life has taught me one thing, it is that you never betray your own. I would sooner cut off my own arm than raise a hand against a friend. But enough talk. You will return to Ul'dah to face justice and the people whose trust you have dragged through the gutter. Not so much as a hint of remorse. 'Tis well that this sordid business is finally at an end. A friend's betrayal cuts deeper than steel. We must hope that we have chosen our own allies more wisely than Roban chose his.
I have heard. Truly bothersome business. No, I do not foresee a problem on that front. The main concern is Roban. There is no telling what the brute might do. Have the Blades watch him in the flames day and night. You may leave the Sultana to me. I shall personally attend her grace. Sever one of the East Aldenard trade routes. That ought to keep Lolorito occupied for a while. Nanamo Ulnamo. For my sake, pray be a good little Sultana to the last.
Let us cling together. Alphana would ask another favor of you. Captain Ilbert and I have a few questions for the Flame Marshal regarding the circumstances of her miraculous escape. When we have completed our interrogation, we shall take our findings directly to General Roban, and that shall be the end of it. Your work here is done, my friend. My thanks. Ah, but I have one last task for you. Return to the Rising Stones and apprise Minfilia of all that has happened. I am aware that the antecedent held Roaille in high regard. For better or worse, she will want to know how this tale ends.
Welcome back, my friend. I have already received word from Alphino. To think that Flame Marshal Huayu was the Garlean agent. I know not what to say. Together with Robon, Eline lent us much-needed aid at the time of our Order's founding. She was particularly passionate about the need to tackle the primal threat. When we discussed the subject, her eyes fairly shone with determination. Whatever else she may have been, I choose to believe that it was her true self with whom I spoke then. But now is not the time to dwell on such matters. I have an important announcement to make regarding our effort to defeat the Ascians. We shall begin as soon as everyone is assembled. My thanks for coming, friends. Moenbryda, the floor is yours.
By now, I'm sure you're all familiar with white auracite, the miraculous material that'll allow us to capture Ascian souls. Back at Snowcloak, we verified its ability to absorb vast amounts of ether. Alas, it leaves something to be desired in the area of stability. The stone can only store ether for a short while before expelling its contents.
In addition to auracite's inherent limitations, we must needs be wary of our enemy's strength. Our foe draweth upon an infinite wellspring of power. Even should we succeed in entrapping him, the stone will not long contain his wrath.
Meaning that, if we want to kill the swine, we'll have to be quick about it.
'Tis our belief that an Ascian soul may be permanently undone, if smitten by a sufficiently concentrated burst of pure ether.
The only trouble is, we can't say for sure how concentrated the burst needs to be. Without knowing how much ether an Ascian soul is composed of, we're basically guessing.
Our sole clue lieth in thy struggle with La Habrea.
During that encounter, Heidelin bid you forge what she called a Blade of Light, a weapon which took the form of a luminous stream of energy. Based on your description, we believe the blade with which you vanquished your foe was composed of ether. Admittedly, your victory proved ephemeral, as La Habrea was able to use a crystal of darkness to flee into the space that lies between our world and the void. The fact remains, however, that Heidelin placed the means to destroy the Ascians in your hands. Be that as it may, it would be unwise to assume that she will do the same when we next encounter such a foe.
Quite so, my lady. We must needs find the means to forge our own blade of ether, one to equal that which Heidelin did benevolently bestow upon her champion.
That is all well and good, but it seems to me that producing such a blade will require a prodigious quantity of ether. Whence will it come, pray tell?
Oh, what if we had two pieces of white auracite? One to trap the Ascian, and the other to store the ether for the blade.
Oh, nice try. But it's as I said, the stone won't hold ether for any length of time. We'd still need to collect the stuff there and then, sorry to say.
And therein lies the rub. Finding a way to create the blade whenever and wherever we choose.
'Twould seem more research is in order. I'm going to linger a while, perform a few more tests on the auracite. And I could do with some help. Urianger, why don't you lend me a hand?
Mine apologies, but I am required at the Waking Sands. Lady Minfilia hath given me sole charge of the premises. 'Twould be unseemly to leave them unattended.
Sole charge, you say? So you're basically alone there, then? Well, that settles it. I'll just have to come to you.
While you were afield, word arrived from the Garlean motherland. You will recall that a survey party was dispatched to investigate the incident at the Isle of Val. What they discovered was troubling, to say the least. According to the report, the isle has been erased from existence. 'Twas as if a hole had been torn in the very fabric of reality.
Aye, yet the mystery endeth not with the isle's disappearance. It hath come to light that a number of scholars in various other locales were reported missing at a similar juncture.
What's more, they all had something in common with the head of the students of Baldesion. Every last one of them was researching a phenomenon called dimensional compression, or the rejoining as the ancient texts call it. I'll be damned if that's a coincidence.
All indications suggest Ascian involvement. But I sense that a force greater still is at work. The entity the Dark Beings call the One True God. We must pray that my dear friend Kryl regains consciousness soon. If she bore witness to the Isle of Val's final moments, she may be able to shed some light on this mystery.
Following the calamity, the forces of the 14th Imperial Legion entrenched themselves in strategic locations across Eorzea. So swiftly did they accomplish this, it was suspected that they had received help. To think that it came from Huayu, my right hand.
There is more. We have reason to believe that Huayu didn't deal exclusively with the 14th. She also answered to a higher authority in Garlemald. But this higher authority could not have been the Emperor. By consenting to the media project, Solus Zos Galvus showed himself to be more concerned about preventing the spread of primal influence than claiming Eorzea for the Empire. He would happily have seen the lot reduced to ash. We believe a number of high-ranking figures within the royal household were against the decision, but that they knew better than to oppose the Emperor openly. Of course, this didn't prevent them from making clandestine provisions, in which Huayu played a part.
Alas, these provisions did not prevent Dalamud from falling, and the ensuing chaos changed the face of the realm forever. Yet Eorzea survived. To all intents and purposes, the Meteor Project had failed, and the Empire was left to rue its lack of a decisive means to eliminate the primals. Until, that is, it stumbled upon the Ultima weapon.
Even before the accursed thing was dug up, it seemed to me the 14th had the might to overwhelm our weakened armies. Yet they chose to hide behind their walls. Why?
The Black Wolf was wary of making the denizens of Eorzea desperate, lest more primals emerge to bleed the land. The discovery of the Ultima weapon, however, emboldened him to resume his war of conquest in earnest.
But there was one in Garlemald who believed that Van Belsar's actions were premature. One who stood higher in the Imperial Army's chain of command. He ordered the Legatus to halt his advance, only to find that the Black Wolf had slipped its leash, and that the 14th now acted alone. In a bid to bring Van Belsar to heel, he used the agent he had planted in Ul'dah prior to the calamity to undermine the Legion's efforts.
A man who outranks Van Belsar, yet opposed the late Emperor's decision to annihilate Eorzea. This could only be the former High Legatus of the Garlean army, now known as Emperor Voris Zos Galvus. So he was Huayu's true master.
But one of several in actual fact. We've learned that even as Huayu served the Empire's interests, she sold Imperial secrets to a certain faction in Eorzea. In so doing, she helped to maintain the status quo, thus prolonging the conflict. Considering who stands to profit from war, it isn't hard to imagine who her other masters were.
Seven hells! You mean to say that she was a double agent?
Triple, if you consider her services to Van Belsar and the new Emperor as separate.
As neatly as these pieces seem to fit, one aspect of the puzzle remains unclear to me. By whose will was the Marshal feeding intelligence to the heretics? And try as I might, I fail to see how aiding their cause would profit either her Imperial or monetarist masters. Could it be that another hand is at work here? If so, Huayu must be made to reveal whose it is.
Not only have I lost a trusted friend, now I must interrogate her as a stranger.
Not a pleasant task, I grant you, but a necessary one. Unless we weed out the ivy, root, stalk and stem, it will simply grow back.
I know that full well. Those closest to Huayu have already been detained, and I will question them alongside her.
General, pray keep in mind that there may be unwitting abettors among them.
All will be treated fairly. On that you have my word. Those who are innocent have no cause to fear.
You have ever been a friend of truth, General. I hope the unpleasant task of weeding out falsehood will not detain you too long. Though it be for the sake of Eorzea, doubting one's comrades is poison to the soul. And with that, I take my leave.
All these years, I've been made to dance to their tune. How could you, Huayu? How could you side with them? Those cankers who take from this land and give naught in return, who use their power to disempower and grow fat while the people starve. I know you can hear me, monitorous scum! Your crimes will not go unpunished! One day I will purge this land of your sickness! Before the eyes of the 12, I swear it!
I shall have no further need of you this day. Your Grace. I fear that not even mine own chambers shall remain private for long.
Has the situation grown so grim?
Ever since he proposed the Cartano Reclamation Bill, Teleji Adeleji has risen to greater prominence upon the backs of impoverished refugees. The monetarists were ever united in their pursuit of profit, but the man's actions have torn a rift in their ranks. They snap at each other as rabid dogs. Yet now is not the time to be bickering among ourselves.
If this bickering is a threat to law and order, might you not have grounds to dissolve the Syndicate?
Would that the solution were so simple, Admiral. Alas, my moving to dissolve the Syndicate is certain to spark outrage among the influential merchant class, whom the Cabal represents. This would serve to exacerbate the current unrest, and peace would slip still further away. Be they rich or poor, natives or refugees, all who reside in Ul'dah have a right to pursue happiness. It is the duty of a ruler to protect this right. If I am to perform my duty, I must needs tread warily. It would not do to make enemies heedlessly. Were Lord Lolorito here, he would doubtless say that I have my head in the clouds.
A ruler is required to take a wide view. Try as we might to cater to all needs, some will inevitably be overlooked. As such, there shall ever be citizens who feel aggrieved. It cannot be helped. But as you have informed us, the monetarists take no view but their own. They hunger for power while the masses starve. In the absence of a common cause, it seems beyond any one individual to make Ul'dah whole.
And the presence of a Garlean agent within the Immortal Flames only makes matters worse. Even accounting for Ul'dah's historic reliance upon mercenaries, such a grievous breach of security is unprecedented. I fear this business will provide the monetarists with a rod to beat Rauban.
Eorzea can ill afford for the immortal flames to be dampened now. Ere long, the Garleans will turn their ravenous gaze toward our lands once more. If we are to resist their might, our nations must stand together. Yet for this to happen, our nations must be whole. Cannot be done to improve the situation in Ul'dah.
The true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her citizens. Alas, the citizens shall never know these things, so long as their lives are ruled by the ambitions of the few. The monetarists claim to represent the best interests of the people, but in sooth they desire only to manipulate them for their own selfish ends. For the government to serve the people, it must be formed of the people. For Ul'dah to move forward, it is not only the Syndicate that must be dissolved.
Nay, you jest.
My friends, it was for no other reason than to make known to you mine intent that I requested your presence here. When I make my declaration to the people, chaos shall inevitably ensue. As the last monarch in the line of Ul, I make unto you this request. Help Roban to preserve order, and protect the people. Forsake them, and you forsake yourselves, for a strong Eorzea will ever have need of a strong Ul'dah.
Your Grace, are you certain of this?
There is no other way. When the time is ripe, the nation shall become a true republic. Both royalists and monetarists shall cease to be. Ul'dah will no longer belong to kings or queens or merchant princes, but to her people. Roban, forgive me for casting aside all that you have toiled for in my name. Beyond this gesture, I am powerless to help my subjects.
And now? Ooh, great. I have to do a bunch of hard stuff. I believe this means I need to return to the Risings and... I think that's all done here. Recurring problem, Minfilia has need of your talents for a re-emerging primal problem. You don't say. I know you have scarce had a chance to rest, but I'm afraid there is still work to do. The Ultima Weapon's destruction, 'twould seem, has served to embolden the beastmen who now seek to call upon their gods once more. Even as we speak, the Amalja, the Ixal, and the Kobolds are making preparations for their respective summoning rites. And that is but the half of it. Much to our dismay, all three tribes were somehow able to procure vast quantities of crystals. Oh, my turn to say something. Basically, this means the primals will be stronger than they were before. Far, far stronger. Their previous incarnations will seem as pale imitations. The beast tribes, we believe, began hoarding crystals with a vengeance to the wake of the Ultima Weapon's maiden appearance. You will remember that as the time... It devoured 3 primals in one sitting. The Grand Companies are aware of the potential primal outbreak. Alas, due to the losses they incurred to ensure the succession of Operation Archon, they are ill-equipped to take any meaningful measures. After deliberations, the leaders concluded that they must needs turn to us once more. To thee. The etheric waves that were observed in Mordana do not appear to bear a connection to any beast tribes, yet much and more still remains beyond our knowing. We must be prepared for all possibilities. I am loath to send you into the midst of danger again so soon, but none have proven themselves more capable against the primals than you. Will you undertake this mission, Amber? Okay. You have my thanks. I truly do not know what we would do without you. Go ahead, Thancred. With circumstances as they were, I haven't had the chance to properly express my gratitude. I owe you my life, Amber. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. A string of failures has left me feeling powerless. I wanted to be stronger, that I might do right by my fellow scions. But instead, I cause you all no end of grief and suffering. I swear to you, it shan't happen again. Owing to everyone's ministrations, I am quite recovered now. I hope to return to my duties again soon. Okay. Thancred's return marks the beginning of a new chapter for the Scions. Let us renew the fire in our hearts and continue to press ever forward. Now then, back to the matter of the primals. With no fewer than 3 of the beings threatening to appear, it is easy to feel overwhelmed. We must take it one sure step at a time. Oriange has the overview of the situation as it stands. Please speak with him to receive guidance on your mission. Such knowledge as I possess of the beast tribes and their primals is at thy disposal. Whether man or beastman, we are wont to seek power when plunged into the black depths of despair. The despair doth begin with the Amaja, who may have already summoned forth Ifrit. With our comrade Thancred now returned, thou wouldst do well to seek his counsel. If it bleeds, we can kill it. Thancred wants you to vanquish Ifrit and has information that will help you to arrange an encounter. Confirmation has just arrived from the Immortal Flames. 'Tis as Oriange said, I fear, the Amalja have already summoned Ifrit. A confrontation with the Lord of the Inferno is inevitable. I would like nothing more than to lend you my blade, but the students of Baldessian insisted that I refrain from taking to the field where it concerns primals. I know not the workings of it, but it would seem the recent events have left me especially susceptible to tempering. As much as I hate missing out on the fun, for everybody's sake, I must sit this one out. Instead, I will focus on gathering and analyzing data. Now, the Immortal Flames have already conducted a preliminary investigation into Ifrit. They may well have information that will be of use to you. Do pay a visit to the Hall of Flames and speak with Commander Swift. One last thing before you depart. Doubtless you remember Minfilia's words, but this Ifrit is a far cry from the primal you first defeated. You will want to assemble your most dependable comrades for this mission. Be safe, my friend. No, I'm just gonna summon a bunch of random people, actually. I hope that's okay. Lieutenant, we thank you for coming. The Flame General will be heartened to hear that you have answered the call. As we have already relayed to the Waking Stand, Ifrit is returned. For the sake of peace in the region, we humbly request that you vanquish him. The primal is to be found in his domain, the Bowl of Embers. To get there, you must use the Beastman Aetherite found within the depths of Zaharak, the Amalja stronghold. The Amalja have constructed their own Aetherite from salvage Aetherite shards. This being the case, you should be able to use it without problem. No doubt you already know this from your fellow scions, but the present incarnation of Ifrit is far stronger than the last. Facing him with any fewer than 7 of your stoutest comrades would be ill-advised. That is all the intelligence we have to share. The rest is in your hands. I shall pray for your victory and safe return. Tu little el amigo. Okay, now I have to queue for it. Now for the intro scenes to the hards, I am going to skip them because they're exact same ones we've already seen before. Okay, hard Ifrit is very much like the normal Ifrit. He's going to start off with blazing everyone in front of him. Do not stand in front of him if you're the tank. Make sure to turn him away. This should be standard for you by now. He still does that Vulcan burst where it will do damage and a knockback to everyone around him. He'll also do that little eruption underneath people's feet. If you have that, make sure to start running. If you're near someone that has that, make sure to start running. Of course, they did it to the Black Mage. Thanks a lot, guys. And then he does a thing where at the beginning, he'll just have one of him in that little rush stance. Later on, he'll have 3 and you'll have to they'll go in succession. You have to dodge them all. He'll do the nails, make sure to kill all the nails, so focus those. After they die, he'll become untargetable. If you ignore the nails, it's a party wipe. There's the one where you had to dodge them in succession. then he'll do this plumes thing. It'll go outside first, so go in, and then it'll drop on the inside, so go out. Unless it gets stung. And then he'll start doing multiple eruptions at the same time, so stay on the move for that. And other than taking Spake, pretty easy. Good luck. Cool. Got a stick. Okay. Pray return to the Waking Sands. Get the next quest. In for Garuda Awakening. Papalima would have you vanquish Garuda, who has returned stronger and bloodthirstier than before. Ah, Amber, I hear you have triumphed over Ifrit, of course. This is no less a feat than I would expect of a warrior of light. But well done all the same. Now, I full had a mind to crack open a bottle of 1547 Bacchus, but the celebration must keep. Garuda, I am afraid to say, has also returned. As you well know, Garuda's appetite for destruction far exceeds that of other primals. Not to dishearten you, but in her latest incarnation, that appetite has become nigh insatiable. In the short time since her return, she has already wreaked tremendous havoc. You must send her back to the Aether before she can do more damage. In the meantime, Yeet and I will assist the Order of the Twin Adder in their recovery effort. When you previously faced Garuda, 'twas the Enterprise that bore you through the storm that shielded her domain. Well, that storm is as a spring breeze beside what she has raised this time. No airship could hope to penetrate it. And so we must count ourselves fortunate the Order of the Twin Adder chanced to discover a beastman aetherite leading to the Howling Eye. Before you do aught else, I suggest you pay a visit to the Adder's Nest and have words with Commander Hewa. He will be able to tell you about the said aetherite, among other things. Make no mistake, the Lady of the Vortex will prove a formidable opponent. But I believe that you can weather the storm. May the 12 keep you safe. Good on, y'all. Ah, Amber of the Scions, we are grateful for your aid. As you will already know, the accursed Ixal have summoned Garuda once more. Since her return, she has wasted no time unleashing her fury upon the region. Extensive damage has been reported in both the Twellswood and Kurthus. She must be stopped, and soon, lest more lives be lost. In the name of the Elder Seeds here, I humbly request you put an end to her reign of terror. As in the past, Garuda keeps her court within the Howling Eye, which is perpetually protected by a raging tempest. Fortunately, we have learned of an alternate way into her domain. The Ixal have constructed an aetherite within Navel, their stronghold in the central highlands of Kurthus. This aetherite will take you to Garuda's tempestuous realm. We owe this discovery to the Ishgardians, who the Elder Seeds here says desire to repay the kindness you showed them. For the sake of our people as well as theirs, may your mission be met with success. Okay. The Howling Eye. So for this one, it's the same as regular to start off with. The tanks need to pull her where she is and face her away from the party. Everyone that is not a tank needs to stay away from her and try to stay away from the stone pillars because she will throw random attacks at people that will damage the area around them, including the pillars. When she jumps up, she'll jump back down where she is and she'll do a cutting AoE in front of her. Just stand behind the pillars like that. Then we go back to the phase. She'll summon feathers. These will attack the pillars. You need to kill them. As soon as she summons them, if anyone that's near the boss can AoE them down, you can half the time take them down before they even get to the pillars. She'll appear in the center and do the stuff again, so tank, reposition her. DPS, kill the feathers. When she jumps up again, feel free to hide behind the pillars. If enough of the pillars are left standing, you will take just a little bit of damage. Keep remembering to stay away from her front, and if you have the ability to attack from range, stay a little bit away from her. Eventually she'll do those little green circles, and you have to stay out of them because they will give you damage and a knockback. She will do 4 of them, 1 in the middle and 3 in the outer edges. Shortly after this phase, she will summon 2 adds. The off tank needs to pull those away from her. You want to kill the one with the green tether before the one with the red tether. Then just keep rinsing and repeating until she's dead. Okay, pray return. Hello, Y'shtola. In a Titan spot, Y'shtola would entrust you with the titanic task of defeating a greatly strengthened Titan. So, both Ifrit and Garuda are now vanquished by your hands, truly. You have earned yourself a rest. Would that you had the luxury of time to enjoy it. It pains me to say that Titan has also returned, and with a vengeance. As was the case with his primal brethren, he has grown stronger than he was before. When I went about my investigation, all indications suggested that the kobolds were nowhere near ready to resume their summoning rites. But it turns out they were deceiving us. I should have known better. The kobold subterranean domain runs deep, and they can easily hoard crystals, with our being none the wiser, and a vast hoard it must have been. Till now, Garuda was the most powerful among the 3 recently active primals, but according to our latest readings, Titan has usurped that honor. A primal's might is determined by 2 factors, the amount of crystals it is gorged upon and the fervor of its believers. I would like nothing more than to measure precisely how strong the Lord of Craigs has become, but I fear the time for such prudence has run out. We have already received an official request for assistance from the Maelstrom, and, as you might expect, it is addressed to you. For your previous encounter with Titan, you traveled to his Demez by way of the Aetheryte first discovered by the Company of Heroes. Sad to say, this Aetheryte no longer seems to respond. But do not despair, for the Maelstrom has reportedly found another in its place. You will want to speak with Commander Riki at Maelstrom Command for the details. I cannot stress this enough, but Titan has grown fearsome strong. See to it you spare no preparation. Amber the Scions, your presence is most welcome. I'm chagrined that we must turn to you again to lay Titan low. No doubt this is yesterday's news to you, but the Lord of Craigs has returned more ferocious and formidable than he was before. We cannot fathom how the kobolds were able to attain such vast stores of crystals, and in so short a time. We will learn the answer in the coming moons, I suspect, but first things first. We need you to vanquish Titan before he and the kobolds have a chance to wreak havoc on Limsa Lominsa. You have felled the primal before, and we believe that you can emerge victorious once more. We've learned of a new aetheryte that will take you to the Navel. It's situated deep within Ogamaro mines. Not the most convenient of locations, admittedly, so you will have to cut yourself a path. Please make all haste. Titan's mere presence emboldens the kobolds, and 'tis only a matter of time before they move in force against us. May the Navigator guide you on your way, Amber. I think it's time to get that aetheryte. Aetheryte first. Titan's aetheryte next. Now this place is a little bit of a maze if you don't know where you're going. And sometimes even when you do know where you're going. Because the places that are the most direct are cut off. Now to play with belly button. Well, okay. I was not expecting an insta-Q as a DPS, but you know what? I'll take it. Look, he's fat and pissed. Welcome to a more aggression Titan. His attacks for the first phase will go that landslide knockback thing. Only for phase 1 will you not get knocked off the edge. Make sure to practice now stepping out of that. Elsewise, when the arena starts to go, you'll be knocked off the edge and ouched. When he jumps up, go to the very edge of the arena, but staying out of the red. And now, if he knocks you back, you're kind of screwed. Stay out of this stuff. That's weight of the land. You don't want to be in that. It'll hurt. If you're in multiple of them, kiss your life goodbye. He'll jump up and do the thing again where he smashes some of the arenas, so stay in that part. He'll continue with landslide. Step out of that. He'll also do weight of the land. Step out of that. And he'll do the bomb boulders that you may or may not remember from the first time that you fought him. When these go on a cycle, pay attention to the first one he drops, because as soon as that one explodes, move to where it is and you'll be safe from all the rest of them. Just keep an eye out for the rest of his mechanics. He'll jump up, smash more of the arena. As you can see, the arena's getting smaller and smaller. It's going to get harder and harder to dodge everything. Now you have to kill his heart. He'll use the same things as before. Except now he'll also do this Earthen Fury where he puts someone in a Granite Gale. If the Granite Jail is about to break and landslide is going right through him, don't break the jail right away, because the person, as soon as they get out of the jail, will get knocked off, and you don't want that. This time he'll do everything else, but more aggressively. And the bombs will start coming in lines, so just pay attention to the first line that he drops. When those explode, move there and you'll be fine for the other two. Rinse and repeat. Good luck. Mordona. Good intentions. Minfilia is considering which of her many responsibilities demands her utmost attention. I am most eager to address the Ascian threat, however, we dare not neglect our other pressing concerns. We both know full well that Saint Shiva will not be the last primal we face, and our relationship with Ishgard is still tenuous at best. To think that the resolution of the primal threat was once the sole priority of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. Some days I wonder if it was wise for us to take on so many other responsibilities. Lest you forget, Antecedent, the Scions need not shoulder the burden alone. Were not the Crystal Braves established for this very reason? True, we are presented with a multitude of problems. However, we have all the resources we need to address them in turn. Amber, in particular, is ever a steadying hand, who I trust will continue to support the Braves. Okay. To what do we owe this pleasure? Have there been further developments regarding the situation in Ul'dah? As expected, the Immortal Flames have been struggling to cope with the revelation that one of their highest-ranking officers was a Garlean agent. Suffice it to say, Teleji Adeleji and his monetarist ilk have wasted no time in attempting to turn the situation to their advantage. Coupled with ongoing unrest, the Flames are finding themselves hard-pressed. Plainly, General Roban needs our help, and I will direct the Crystal Braves to offer what support they can. If I am to stay abreast of the latest developments and issue effective orders, however, I cannot afford to waste time traveling back and forth. And so, for the unforeseeable future, I think it would be for the best if I were to remain in Ul'dah, unless you have an objection. None whatsoever. We have all matters here well in hand. Moenbryda's research is proceeding as planned? So she tells me, though I am not familiar with the details. Roaille is poring over his tomes at the Waking Sands, and the others are contributing in their own ways. Alas, the key problem, how to form an ethereal blade at will, remains unsolved. Nevertheless, it is only a matter of time. Amber, while we focus on that task, mayhap you could assist Alphino and his braves with theirs. It would do much to restore faith in the Immortal Flames if the Warrior of Light was seen working on their behalf. Never forget that your esteemed status allows you to act in ways that those more tightly bound to organizations and nations cannot. As ever, I implore you to do so. Okay, not that your response was ever in doubt, but I humbly thank you once more for aiding our cause. Now then, there are preparations I must attend to before my departure, such as receiving Roaille's latest report. He has proven to be quite skilled at gathering information others wish kept secret, hence why I placed him under my direct command and ordered him to investigate the Ul'dah riots. When you are finished here, join me outside. Depending on what he has to say, I may soon have a favor to ask. If there are any developments on our front, I shall inform you at once in the usual fashion. Pleasure as always, Amber. You'll be escorting the commander to Ul'dah, I take it? Actually, I had another task in mind for her. If you would please be so kind as to repeat your report for her benefit. Right then. Me and mine have been making inquiries into the source of the weapons that found their way into refugee hands a ways back. So happens we caught wind of something promising, a rather large purchase of sharp and pointy things by a black marketeer holed up near Highbridge. I doubt that this man would have secured such a quantity of weapons if he did not already have clients waiting. Clients that, for whatever reason, would prefer for this transaction to remain secret. Brings to mind that merchant what caught an arrow while talking to Amber, don't it? Generous fellow he was, doling out swords and spears to the downtrodden and disgruntled. Which isn't to say that these clients have the same mischief in mind, but if you want to be sure, it might be prudent to intervene before they collect their goods, savvy? Seizing the weapons before they fall into the wrong hands would be for the best. However, if we strike at the appointed hour, we might capture the black marketeer as well as his clients. What say you, Amber? Okay. Then it is settled. Rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at Highbridge and intervene when the exchange takes place. Now then, if you would excuse me, I must leave for Ul'dah. I expect good tidings. Yeah, I wouldn't. Ah, Amber, my scouts have been keeping a close eye on the Black Marketeer, and it would seem that his guests have arrived. It would also seem that he has hired more than a few men to stand guard. Common thugs of no consequence, but they nevertheless pose a threat. Even so, I feel compelled to apologize, as is far beneath a woman of your standing, and Commander Leveilleur needn't have dispatched you hither. But powerful men ever have need of loyal, able-bodied friends. Having found one in you, 'tis only natural that he would come to rely upon you without hesitation. Bait and switch. Ilbert is eager to bring the Black Marketeer and his clients to justice. Now then, we should make for the burning wall without delay and secure those weapons. The first unit will ensure that the clients do not escape. With me, Amber. I spy the one man, but there are sure to be others. I have a plan. While you approach the sentry and create a distraction, my men and I will slip past and catch the Black Marketeer unawares. Once you dispose of the thugs, wait for us outside the tunnel entrance. Any questions? Then let us be off. Good luck, my friend. Who goes there? An adventurer? Damn fool. You should have never come here. Am I done now? I don't understand. What's all this about? Ah! As you can see, this is a fine mess. When I tried to restrain him, he drew a hidden blade and lashed out. But before I could disarm him, one of my subordinates panicked, and this is the result. How foolish of me to underestimate the bastard, and to bring an unexperienced recruit. Commander Levio will be most disappointed. Damn it all, a golden opportunity wasted. As for the clients, though we know not how, they slip past our perimeter. At present, the first is currently tracking a party of dusk-white sellswords we suspect may be them. Would that we could have enlisted the aid of the Immortal Flames or the Brass Blades. Alas, we're here to aid them. They're in no position to aid us. Well, at the very least, we have secured the weapons. Yet even that accomplishment is lacking, for the information we received indicated a massive shipment, and this is anything but. Best laid schemes. Ilberd would like nothing more than to have this incident forgotten. I will join the first in their hunt for the dusk-white sellswords. If the gods are good, we will catch them before they escape into the Black Shroud. In the meantime, I ask that you deliver these weapons to Ulda in my stead. Entrust them to the third Yuhas. He will take care of the rest. Ah, the Warrior of Light, ever reliable friend to the Crystal Braves. You have my deepest thanks for your assistance in Kurthis. Now, what brings you to us this day? Here's some weapons. A gift of weapons from a certain black marketeer, courtesy of Captain Ilberd, you say? Understood. Once we've catalogued the contents, I'll have them delivered to the Hall of Flames. This cannot be everything, can it? Roaille stated with confidence that there would be a far greater quantity of weapons. A blatant falsehood. Clearly Roaille is unfamiliar with the ways of Uldan merchants, who ever strive to present themselves as greater than they are. We should be thankful that this information was not completely erroneous, and that we managed to achieve anything worth it all. It's still something worth celebrating, isn't it, Lieutenant? Besides, we've got more important things to worry about, like fighting those Garleans up north. There'll be no fighting if I have anything to say about it. Our orders are to stand watch, not to seek glory in battle. If you have no further need of us, then I shall take my unit to the Cerulean processing plant. Time for the Fourth to earn their keep, eh? Fight well, Eliana, for the freedom of all. Excellent work as always, my friend. Rest assured that the immortal flames will hear of your contribution until we meet again. Amber, a word, if it please ye. Okay. Not here. Look for me at the Sapphire Avenue Exchange. No need for whistling this time, don't you worry. Thanks for indulging me request. Few places better than a market for privacy, I find. All the hustle and the bustle of commerce means most conversations go unnoticed. I'll get to the point. At the burn-in wall, when you and the captain interrupted the exchange, what happened? Tell me everything. Leave no detail out. That's not quite how the first told it. These duskwights they were chasing. Latest word is that we lost the trail. But you never saw him yourself? Not before the fighting started and not after? Something ain't right. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it in me bones. I'm not daft enough to be misled by some merchant's drunken boasts. Our information was reliable, goddammit. I know he purchased those weapons. As if I've never deciphered a moneylender's books or had to follow a transaction back to its source. Did plenty of that back when the Braves were getting started, believe me. The commander wanted assurances that we weren't taking gil from the wrong sort of benefactors. Of course, these days the money flows like water and the first and third get the shiniest new toys. Forgive me, friend. I have a lot on my mind these days, and I appreciate you lending an ear. Right then, best get back to it. Amber, can you hear me? This is Tataru. Your presence is urgently requested at the Rising Stones. Please come and see me as soon as you are able. Thank you for coming so quickly, Amber. We've a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. A most, determined lady, by all indications. The Rising Chorus. Tataru seems eager to escort you to the Solar. Our guest is with the antecedent in the Solar at present. Let's not keep them waiting any longer, shall we?
We have a guest from Ishgard who wishes to speak with you. I believe the two of you have met.
You could say that.
We have. I had hoped to speak with Commander Leveilleur as well, but I cannot afford to wait any longer. The Lord Commander sent me hither to request your aid in a matter of grave import.
You see now why I had Tataru summon you.
Now that we're all assembled, perhaps you would be good enough to elaborate on the nature of the matter which brought you to us.
The Observatorium's astrologians have sounded the alarm. Last night, the Dragon Star burned with an intensity not seen in 15 summers, not since the Dravanians engaged the Empire in the Battle of Silvertear Skies.
The northern sky doth burn full bright upon the Wormlord's call. The red behemoth beckoneth, and flame consumeth all.
The old Curthan rhyme, aye. The brightening of the Dragon Star is said to accompany the roar of a great worm,
The astrologians believe that it was Midgardsormr himself who cried out on this occasion.
After an absence of centuries, the King of Kings did return to lead his kind against the might of Garlemald, only to fall in his duel with the Agrius, proud flagship of the Garlean fleet. Devoid of life, his corpse remaineth entwined about the Magitech monstrosity even unto this day.
Ariange has the right of it. Whatever this alteration in the Dragon Star portends, the Great Worm has shown no sign of life. Tataru, have the Domans reported aught out of the ordinary?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but if Midgardsormr had roared, wouldn't we have heard it here in Revenant's Toll?
Roar is but a figure of speech. Dravanians can communicate in ways beyond our ken. It is for this very reason that we are forced to look for signs in the heavens. We cannot say with any confidence that a great worm roared at all, much less that it was Midgardsormr. Only by directly examining the Keeper of the Lake can we be certain. However, it will take too long to gain the Holy See's approval to dispatch the Temple Knights. Therefore, Sir Emric would entrust this task to you. Do you accept?
Okay.
We knew you would not disappoint us. Now if you would excuse me, I must return and assist the Lord Commander. We have precious little time to prepare.
To prepare for what, pray tell?
When a great worm roars, his brethren cannot choose but answer. We prepare for battle.
Forgive me if I state aught which you already know, but I would ensure that you understand the nature of your destination. Yup. As Ariange stated, what we now call the Keeper of the Lake is the wreckage of the Agrius, former flagship of the Imperial fleet, and the corpse of the worm responsible for its destruction. 15 years ago, as the next step in his campaign to subjugate Eorzea, Gaius von Belsar attempted to seize control of Mordona. So massive was his force that all thought his victory a foregone conclusion. But an unlikely ally came to Eorzea's aid that day. Midgardsormr, legendary guardian of Silver Tear Falls, burst forth from beneath the waters of the lake and led a host of dragons against the Garlean airships overhead. In what would later become known as the Battle of Silver Tear Skies, the Great Worm felled countless airships before engaging the Agrius. In the ensuing struggle, the flagship's beryllium engines failed and it tumbled into the lake below. Yet this victory came at a great cost, for the explosion which followed claimed the life of the Great Worm as well. That same explosion transformed Silver Tear Falls into the desolate wasteland it is today, draining the lake of its waters and crystallizing ether for moms around. Yet a remnant of the lake remains, and at its center a constant reminder of that fateful day long ago. In accordance with Sir Emric's wishes, our Doman allies have been standing watch over the Keeper of the Lake. It would be wise to speak with them before investigating the wreckage yourself. Okay. Be careful, my friend. We know not what dangers await you within. Now then, let us not neglect our own tasks. There is much to be done and precious little time to do it. You're in luck, miss. I was about to send word to Revenant's Toll about the Garleans. Of late, I've seen small ships, likely from Castrum Sentry, come and go from the Keeper of the Lake. Though I cannot say for certain at this distance, I believe they may be salvaging something from within the wreckage. The Castrum supply lines have been cut for some time, and I'd wager they're desperate need of spare parts and other equipment. So it's true, then? The Ishgardians honestly fear that the worm might rise again? Well, from here that seems rather unlikely. But if it's assurances they want, you've no choice but to inspect the corpse in its entirety. Easier said than done, given the creatures which inhabit the wreckage. And the aforementioned Garleans, who won't take kindly to your presence. They're sure to fire upon an airship, so I'd advise a more stealthy approach. Take this boat and a few of your comrades to the base of the Agrius, then climb to the top. That's the only viable approach, I'd say. So there are 3 separate ad pulls along the way to the first boss. This first one is just 3 crabs. The second one, if you're a tank, you may want to put some of your defensive cooldowns up because it can hit rather hard. And for the third one, make sure to have your interrupt ready for the frog because he'll do the licky licky and the big thing. The goblins will also do an AoE, but it's mostly the frog's AoE that is larger and you want to worry about. This first boss is pretty easy. He has a tank buster. He does a mild area-wide attack. After a little while, he'll summon these things that will have bombs and they'll drop them. He'll shoot down, which will set like 2 of them off. So stay away from those 2, but when those 2 go off, the explosion will cause the rest of them to go off. So make sure to position yourself accordingly and prepare to be agile. After a while, he'll go to the side and he'll do this thing where you need to stand as far to the center as possible. When he drops the 5 bombs and they start to glow, there is one small little safe spot. So find out where it is and go there. And then it's a rinse and repeat. So for this trash, the first bit, you have to kill the guys. They'll drop a key card, you drop the barrier, then you go up and pull the guys, and there will be a little machine that you need to destroy to drop the barrier to fight the big guy. That happens twice, and then it's back to find the key card and drop the barrier to the next boss. Now for this boss, you want to absolutely stay away from the front if you're not a tank, because they have a flamethrower. When they do this, even if you are a tank, move out of the way and stay out of the way because it persists for a few seconds. Then they'll go over to one part of the arena and do something called a carpet bomb. These are persisting circles, so stay out of them for a few seconds and pick up the ads off the ads, and he'll keep doing it a bunch. He'll on occasion target someone just to do an explosion that's non-persisting. And this is pretty much all he does. Now this next section will have two parts of ads, two groups of two ads, and there's going to be a ship that flies around the outer area that occasionally throws a circle AoE on you. When you finish killing the ads, he will damage the wreckage that's blocking your path and you'll be able to move on to the next path. Then after that, you'll be able to move on to the final boss. Take a guess what it is?
Who treadeth now upon my bones, and waketh me from slumber sweet? Thou hast forgotten the face of thy lord. Remember, mortal, and fear me.
Now Midgar Zomer, he has a very large line AoE. And then he has a large partial circle AoE. This can either happen in the half of the arena closest to him or the half arena furthest from him. Then he'll summon two dragons, and these will do large line AoEs directly in front of them, so make sure you are not standing in the path of either of them. He'll also do an arena-wide AoE that does moderate damage. Then he will summon 2 adds that you need to kill. You must drop these guys before his bar reaches 100 or it's going to be a wipe. During this, he'll also do a cascading AoE attack over almost the entire arena. You can easily dodge this by standing in the second ring, and then when the first ring explodes, stepping into that. Now this stack marker means it's not just one stack, he will do several concurrent attacks that you must remain stacked for until the end. And then other than that, he has a tank buster and it's rinse and repeat until the end. Enjoy the cutscenes.
By her gifts hast thou earned a moment's reprieve. Speak, mortal, and I shall listen. Guided by a star. My people have heard the song. Ishgard shall burn. Sons must answer for their father's misdeeds. We do not forget. We do not forgive. Seven children did I sire. One now singeth of retribution. I rise to join in the chorus. Thou art powerless to silence us, mortal. Yet thou shalt not live to labor in vain. Thy reprieve is at an end. Trickery is thy shield. This frail, ignoble creature is not gifted, but chosen. Hearken to me, Hydaelyn. I remember, and I consent. Fear not, mortal. I shall not harm thee.
Well, snap.
Mayhap thou thinkest me an oath breaker. Thou art mistaken. If thou comest to harm, it shall be by another's hand, not mine. I did but strip thee of thy mistress's feeble blessing. Thou didst profit much by her grace, but no more. The covenant binds me to thee. I shall watch, listen, and wait. Fight and struggle, if it be thy will. Man hath ever coveted that which lies life. When it hath grown whole, the loyal and penitent shall rejoice. The dragon song heraldeth a beginning and an end.
I was beginning to fear the worst. Were those explosions I saw? But you shouldn't waste time talking with me. Alphino left a message stating that you were to return to the Rising Stones at once. Praise the 12 that you are hale and whole. I came as soon as Minfilia informed me of Ceramic's request. You have completed your investigation of the Keeper of the Lake, I take it? Then I would hear your report. Well, he kind of screwed me over a bit, and now I have a pet. You converse with Midgardsormr? I swear, were anyone else to make such a claim, I would regard it with considerable skepticism. Are we to understand that the Worm Lord did not perish and has in sooth lain dormant these past 15 years? Less reassurance and more rejuvenation for he who dwelleth in eternity, years passing as moments. Though his words were ambiguous at times, one statement left little room for interpretation. My people have heard the song, Ishgard shall burn. Clearly an attack is imminent. We must share this information with Ceramic immediately. However, we dare not divulge your conversation with Midgardsormr in its entirety. To even acknowledge that you heard the voice of a Duranian is a grave but necessary risk. Lest we forget, men have been executed as heretics for declaring as much. For your own protection, for the sake of our tenuous relations with Ishgard, the truth cannot leave this room. As for how we shall present our revelation to Ceramic's emissary, you may leave that to me. Pray remain here for now. Is there something you're not telling us, Amber? You seem different somehow. 'Tis almost as if you are missing something important. Yeah, he shot me. 12 forefend! Midgardsormr stripped you of the blessing of light? Are you alright? How do you feel? Okay. I see. It is a relief to hear that you are otherwise unharmed. It beggars belief that any being could possess the power to deprive you of her blessing. Midgardsormr made mention of a covenant, did he not? One of the ancient myths regarding Silvertear Falls states that when the waters came into existence, so too did the Great Worm. Althik and Nimia, brother Time and sister Fate, decreed that Midgardsormr ever watch over the source, from which all water and magic was said to flow. I wonder, what if this was the covenant of which he spoke, and 'twas not the gods with whom he treated, but Heidelin herself? Well, if he is watching over you as he claimed, mayhap you will have an opportunity to ask. Let us keep this matter to ourselves. I do not wish to burden our friends needlessly. Art thou a pawn or master of thy fate? What hast thou wrought by thine own hands, mortal? Well, considering I just got back here, not a whole lot. Mind your business, whelp.
My friend, I can scarce believe it. You confronted the Wormlord and lived to tell the tale. I give thanks to Howling for your preservation. It is our sole cause for gladness. Your encounter with the Keeper of the Lake served to confirm our fears. A great worm has roared, and it makes little difference if it was one of the two in Eorzea or any other. The Dravanians are coming.
I am told that Ishgard has magical defenses against Dravanian attack, though I am not privy to their exact nature. Will they be enough to repel a massive force?
Ishgard has weathered countless assaults over centuries. This will be no different. And now that you have confirmed the threat, none can ignore the Lord Commander's calls for the wards to be strengthened. I dare not presume to speak for him, but I expect the Lord Commander would sing your praises. I must away, but we shall meet again soon.
Okay.
Countless assaults weathered, and this will be no different? Why am I not convinced?
The Ishgardians have warred with the Dravanians for centuries, nay, nearly 1,000 years. In all that time, not once have their enemies breached their defenses and entered the city proper. Yet regardless of how strong these magical wards may be, I nevertheless fear that the Ishgardians are underestimating the gravity of the situation. Though it was not Midgardsormr who roared, a call to arms by one of the first brood cannot be ignored. Until such time as they choose to request our aid, however, we can do naught but observe the situation at a distance and pray that our fears are unfounded. Aether on demand. Alphina has a message from Moenbryda for the Scions. Ere I forget, I believe Moenbryda has requested a gathering of the Scions. I assume there has been some progress concerning our efforts to combat the Ascians. Pray inform her that our business with the Ishgardians is concluded for the moment. I shall be along once I've completed my communications with the Crystal Braves. All done with your talk of dragons? Wonderful, because Ascians are next on the menu. Let's head into the solar, shall we?
Now that everything's calmed down a bit, relatively speaking I mean, I thought it might be a good time to share our progress on the weapon. I believe we're on the verge of a breakthrough.
Well, don't keep us all in suspense.
Just in case anyone's forgotten, let's start by reviewing what we already know. So, an Ascian is an immortal because its soul doesn't return to the ethereal realm when its host is defeated. Instead, it flees to the place that lies between our world and the void. Therefore, the first step to permanently defeating an Ascian is preventing its soul from making this journey. And if you recall, when we last gathered here, I had verified that white auracite has adequate capacity to entrap the beings, albeit only briefly.
Which left the small matter of their extermination.
Aye. To unmake an Ascian soul, one must needs smite it with a concentrated burst, or blade, of purest ether. However, we wanted for both the data and the means to forge such a weapon.
Short of experimenting on an actual Ascian, you see, there's no way to gauge how much ether its soul is made of. As such, we don't know what etheric density our blade needs to have in order for it to work.
So we'll just have to make the densest blade we can and hope for the best. Though that would require a lot of ether. Hang on a minute! Why didn't we think of this before? White auracite can hold an absolute heap of ether, can't it?
Please tell me you're joking. God's sakes, Ida. I feel as though I'm reliving the same scene over and over with you. How many times do you need to be told that white auracite cannot store ether for long periods? Being intangible matter, ether is given to dispersion. Only in its crystallized form is it a stable source of energy. I will test you later on this, so see to it you do not forget.
Right, yes. It's all coming back to me.
So our hopes rest on good old crystals again, do they? While they are certainly reliable, they leave something to be desired in the area of portability.
Indeed. I am reminded of the quantity of corrupted crystals required to thwart Leviathan, and the extraordinary lengths to which the Lamentsons went to transport them. What if it should prove that a similar quantity was needed to destroy an Ascian soul? Or still more?
I do not envy the poor sod who has to lug all of that around, on the off chance that an Ascian appears.
That's the very problem we set out to solve. And I reckon we've found the answer. If it isn't practical to lug around the ether we need, we'll just have to draw upon another source. And the only viable source is the land.
If you mean to tap the Great River of Ether, know that it will entail considerable risk. Meddling with the currents may well induce a surge like to the one which despoiled Moenbryda.
Give me a bit more credit, will you? Why would we need to tap the river when there are veritable reservoirs jutting out all over the land? I speak of corrupted crystals. It might be that their aspect is out of balance, but a crystal's a crystal. It contains ether, and we can help ourselves to it.
While corrupted crystals are indeed abundant, there is no guarantee that they will be in close proximity at a crucial moment.
But what if we don't need them to be? What if we could tap their power from afar? A malm away, say? If we could do that, we'd have ready access to ether aplenty in almost every corner of Eorzea. I've yet to put my theories to the proof, but I've got a good feeling about this. If no one has any objections, I'd like to see where this avenue leads.
If you think it worth your while, you have my blessing. But tell us, what are your theories? I, for one, am most eager to understand the process, however vaguely.
I thought you might say that, but no one wants to listen to boring old theories all day, do they? I know I don't. So with your permission, I'd like to try something a bit more hands-on. I've already built an etheric siphon especially for this purpose, and I've been meaning to try it out. Thing is, the profusion of corrupted crystals in Moenbryda makes it something of a high-risk testing ground. If anything goes awry with the siphon, it would be better if it didn't happen within spitting distance of quite so much ether. Ideally, I need an isolated specimen. Does anyone know where I can find one?
May I suggest northern Thanalan? There you will find corrupted crystals of middling size, standing a reasonable distance apart. Ideal for your needs, I should have thought. Oh, and if you do elect to visit the place, I should be much obliged if you would assist me in another matter while you are in the area.
Has something happened?
Movement has been observed at Castrum Meridianum. During Operation Archon, the Alliance dealt the stronghold a heavy blow. Its facilities were extensively damaged, and its garrison reduced to a fraction of its former strength. Not long after our forces withdrew, however, their ranks were replenished by reinforcements from Castrum's Sentry. They now seek to rebuild, and to this end they have their sights set upon the ceruleum processing plant. Having lost the Empire's support, the 14th Legion lacks the resources to sustain itself. To them, this is a bid for survival, and they will doubtless fight like desperate men. Though I have dispatched the Crystal Braves, I fear their strength alone may not suffice to stay the Imperial assault. I would request the Scion's aid in the defensive effort.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you were trying to inveigle us into fighting your battle with the promise of shiny crystals. Well then, consider me inveigled. I won't lie, the crystals you speak of sound perfect, so the Garleans have to go. Besides, we can't afford to beat about the bush. There's no telling when the Arceans will next appear.
Thine eagerness to hurl thyself into the jaws of danger cometh as little surprise. Exercise due caution, I prithee.
Though you have become a Crystal Brave, you are yet a Scion, Alphino. We could hardly refuse you. Pray, join the Crystal Braves and lend them your support. Thangred and Papalymo shall accompany you. Ida and Y'shtola, in the meantime I would have you assist Moenbryda. Scout out the crystal clusters, that the testing may commence as soon as the Garlean threat has been eliminated.
If it please you, I shall continue mine own experiments on white orosite.
Thank you, Urianger. Everyone, pray see to your preparations and depart as soon as you are able. Go well, and be safe.
Let me out, let me out. Twould seem that events have once more conspired to rob us of rest and recuperation. Though I would wish it otherwise, I must ask that you head straightway to the processing plant. No way. The 4th have already deployed to the area and await the arrival of the Scions. We'll brief you on the developing situation. Meanwhile, I must rendezvous with Captain Ilbert at our headquarters in Ul'dah. I shall take command of our forces there with a lighter heart, knowing that you go to support the front lines. Don't think you want to do that, bro. Your duties take you to Northern Thanalan, do they not? Yeah. We too must say our farewells to the Rising Stones for a time. Philomen travels to Ul'dah, and we shall serve as her escort. At my daughter's behest, I go to contact certain old acquaintances in the Gilded City. We are beset on all sides by civil unrest and imperial machinations. Threatened by primals and troubled by dragons, we need all the allies we can muster. Many of my friends hold positions of power, you see, and it is my hope that they can be convinced to aid the Scion's cause. If past events have taught us anything, then we know that Eorzea must present a united front, or we shall fall. Ah, how extraordinary that my little Isilia is involved in such far-reaching affairs. I am proud that I might now stand at her side not only as a mother, but also as a colleague. A colleague with influential connections, but I fear that Ul'dah has become a place of danger even for one so familiar with her streets. Bah! Woe betide the black guard that so much as glares in your direction, milady. Aha! I shall be well protected, it seems. Shall we be on our way then? You guys have fun. Just remember how I beat the snot out of you last time. Don't let that happen again. Commander Levair sent word that you be coming. A veteran of your talents is most welcome. Not that I don't think we can handle the situation, mind you. I've learned a trick or two since that disaster with the Emulja. But returning to the task at hand, the Flames reconnaissance scouts have reported Imperial soldiers assembling at Roban's push. Such a force is likely interested in only one thing, getting their hands on the resources found here at the processing plant. The Garleans could begin marching on us at any time. Pray speak with Lieutenant Edelstein, that we might coordinate our counter-strategy. In the meantime, I'll inform the others that you have arrived. No doubt it will be welcome tidings. Lieutenant, my soldiers yet tell tales of your deeds during Operation Archon. Would that we could sit a while and reminisce about old times, but I fear more pressing matters require our attention. The civilian draftsmen, you see, have come across several highly suspicious crates within the boundaries of the processing plant. I had my sappers take a closer look, but our worst fears were confirmed. These boxes contain powerful explosive devices. Devices of Imperial design, no less. By my order, the Flame Station here are conducting a thorough sweep of the compound as we speak. Though it troubles me that we were unable to apprehend the Imperial spy behind this, I have faith that our men will be able to neutralize the threat for now. In the meantime, our scouts bring troubling news on the latest movements of the Imperial army. I would once again ask for your aid. On the counteroffensive, Lieutenant Edelstein wishes to share a report with you concerning the Garlean's movements. We've been keeping a close eye on that Garlean garrison, and 'twould seem the Imperials have finally begun to mobilize. According to the reconnaissance reports that just came in, the squad seen leaving the Castrum are too few in number to effectively take and hold our position. They will likely mount a swift assault and focus on the acquisition of resources. I have, of course, also shared this report with the Crystal Braves. They've decided to take to the field to meet this assault head-on. I have apprised your fellow scions of the situation, and am heartened to know that they will be joining the effort. Pray report to Lieutenant Alian, and lend your much welcome strength to the counteroffensive. Glad to have you with us, Amber. As I'm sure Lieutenant Edelstein has explained, the Garleans have deployed a small force from Castrum Meridianum. Their main column assembles to the north near Dalamud's Talons, but we've also spied several squads attempting to conceal themselves on the approach to the west. They wish you to rush forth and commit to battle with the main column, leaving the detached force free to raid the plant and pillage supplies. Not much of a strategy, but these are desperate men. Captain Ilberd. Greetings, Scion. I understand the commander bids you and your fellows come lend a hand to the Braves. With such mighty heroes at its disposal, the force should have little trouble contending with aught the Garleans might throw at them. But even you cannot be everywhere at once. The third was getting restless holed up in Ul'dah, so I marched them out here to fill any holes in the plan's defenses, and add their numbers to your counterattack. The reinforcements are welcome. We've enough soldiers now to divide our forces and safely engage the enemy far beyond the walls. Aye, 'twould be best to avoid staging a battle anywhere near this much ceruleum. Let's take this fight to the Garleans. A wise course, indeed. I shudder to think of the consequences should any of these storage tanks to be exposed to fire. If there are no objections, the Scion shall join the fourth and give battle to this main column. You're with the third, then, Warrior of Light. Your job will be to intercept these squads hiding out in the west and prevent them from reaching the processing plant. Okay. When you're ready to proceed, report to Lieutenant Haas. His scouts should have a rough idea of where the Imperials have concealed themselves by now. Hey, Shorty. A pleasure to be fighting at your side once more, Scion. Our operations invariably succeed when you're around, and victories are wont to be paved the road to greater coin. Now, this detached force we've been sent to eliminate has split into smaller squads, the better to conceal themselves within the terrain hereabouts, I imagine. We'll need to split ourselves up as well to cover more ground, and make sure we root out all these would-be raiders. And seeing as you're an army unto yourself, I've assigned you your own area to scour clean of enemy soldiers. Aye, this will be a simple search and destroy. We'll rendezvous back here when the task is done. Happy hunting, Scion. Okay. Kill them. Kill them all. You seem grim, Scion. I'll take that to mean that, between us, more than a few Garleans won't be making it back to the castrum. These Imperials, though, they certainly made us earn our pay. I would be a happy man if I ever had to tussle with another of those Magitek horrors. It is time we bid this war-torn land farewell. I will contact the Fourth and let Lieutenant Alian know the west is now clear. I would appreciate it if you would do the same when you report to Lieutenant Edelstein. Lieutenant, what news of the Garleans? They're dead. 2 pats. Their raiding parties are no more then? Excellent. The Amija engineers will be most relieved to hear that the plant is no longer in any immediate danger. Thank you again for your assistance. An uninvited Ascian. Lieutenant Edelstein appears concerned for Moenbryda's well-being. You must be anxious for word of your fellows. Lieutenant Alian has reported a sound victory over the main column, and informs me that the Scions have already turned their attention to other duties. All but one, that is. The Rogadan lady with the large axe? 'Twould appear she has chosen to remain at the site of the battle. I know not what task keep her from returning to civilization, but Northern Thanalan is no place to wander alone, even for capable sorts such as her. I would certainly feel better about things if you could check in on her before you continue on your way. You seen the size of that woman? Pretty sure she's okay.
Hold on, I won't be a second. The beast seemed peckish, so I gave it a taste of my axe. I know. As Urianger never tires of reminding me. An axe ill becometh the hand of a scholar. What can I say? I like axes. To hear my mother tell it, I came into this world holding one. And it's not as if it stopped me picking up a quill, is it? I often think of the man who introduced me to the joys of learning. He's one of the reasons I decided to come to Eorzea. Him and my excruciatingly stiff childhood friend. Considering how unalike we are, it's a wonder we ever got on. The world's a strange old place, isn't it? Aye, that ought to do it.
You sure you're done?
So far, so good. At these concentrations, it shouldn't matter too much if something goes awry. Just enough ether to make it interesting. Did you see that? The way the crystal glowed?
Yep.
The siphon works, I'm happy to say. With a few refinements, it should satisfy our appetite for ether, which just leaves the small matter of forging our blade. I'm not sure how to go about it just yet, but I swear to find a way. I'll put a blade in your hands if it's the last thing I do.
She senses me. A useful talent.
Hanassian, are they onto us?
By your brand, I see you are an Archon of Garlean, keeper of knowledge, seeker of truth. Meddler.
I don't know what the hell's you're saying, but I don't much like your tone.
Your instincts serve you well. But come, be not unsettled on my account. That lovely brow was not made for frowns. But I waste my breath. Let me direct my words to one who understands them. We meet at last, warrior of light. I am Nabriales. And you have long been a thorn in my side. I suffered the overweening presence of Lahabrea that men might host the power of gods, only for you to undo my hard work.
Oh, bugger.
Do settle down. You must concede that I acted in self-defense. But what's this? I do not sense the blessing of light. Oh dear. Could it be that frail Hydaelyn has forgotten her champion? This I did not foresee. Shorn of light as you are no longer a threat. And better yet, the seal is broken. Now is the time to claim the staff.
With it in my grasp, I shall rise above them all and take my place at Lord Zodiac's right hand.
What did that bastard want with us? Nabriales, he calls himself. With charm like that, I'll bet he has maidens falling at his feet, unconscious. But this staff, you say just talking about it had the bastard grinning like a brat on his name day. Must be quite a staff. Oh, gods! He means Tupsimati, Master Louis Soir's staff! Minfilia's in danger! We have to get back to the Rising Stones!
Though you may want to leave your axe behind. Just a thought there. You're here. Master Louis's staff is kept in the solar, isn't it? Quickly now.
You two!
So, you were able to divine my intent. What now, warrior of light? Ah, but that name is no longer fitting. You have become decidedly dull, and quite incapable of barring my entry.
What do you mean?
You truly do not know? Then I suppose it is only right that I enlighten you. The blessing of light kept you and your fellow meddlers safe. It was that which prevented my kind from entering your domain. My kind, I say, though it had no power over the likes of Elidibus and La Habrea. Being of this world, they could come and go as they please, while I could only look on. But I need look no longer. Now that the seal is gone, I mean to act. Unlike the others, I am not given to waiting. I shall take that staff and bring about the next rejoining.
Rejoining? Then it was your doing. The Isle of Val, the scholars, all of it.
You will not harm her!
Moenbryda!
Why must you insist on forcing my hand? Did you learn nothing from our last meeting? Ah, but I forget. My words fall upon deaf ears.
The staff is but a broken relic, a memorial to the departed. What possible use could you have for it?
What use? You mean to say that all this time you kept the key, never knowing what it was you possessed? The staff Tupsimati, or rather the stone tablet it bears, is host to a great power. Together with the horn, it can be used to draw vast quantities of ether from its bearer's surroundings. How else do you think Louis Soir was able to invoke the power of the 12 without making them an offering of crystals? Summoning requires not only prayer, but a profusion of ether. Even a child knows that.
If I did not know before, you may be certain I do now. But above all, I know that we cannot allow this staff to fall into your hands. I will die before I let you take it.
Insufferable woman. I would happily end your miserable life here and now. Alas, Elidibus would never let me hear the end of it. Very well. If you will not part with the staff, I will take you too.
After them! Quickly! Before the rift closes!
Chrysalis. Take your 20-minute wait time and shove it. One thing that must be said at the beginning, do not use the limit break until it is used on the tear much later on in the fight. That being said, healers and tanks, watch out for when he does double or triple and then starts doing spark. That is essentially his tank buster. Use your mitigation and healers heal up the tanks. After beating on him some, he'll move to the center of the room, become targetable, and you'll start seeing orbs appear around the outside. Please pick them up in alternating color, so do not pick up 2 red in a row as it will give you increased stack of ouch. You do not want stacks of ouch. Sometimes the balls will bring out these adds. Just kill the adds because they do massive AoE damage to part of the arena. Please keep in mind that these balls do have an explosion range, so try not to be anywhere near them if they are the color you just picked up. The idea here, though, is to keep as few as possible from reaching him, because the more that reach him, the more things that ouch you. He will generally perform this phase twice. He also will sometimes teleport to one of the edges of the room and do a massive line AoE in front of him. Just stay out of it. He also has an area AoE, which damages everyone. Now this portal is going to suck you into it whether or not you like it. The meteors must be soaked by the tanks only. If you are not a tank, stay out of the meteors. You should play piggyback, so both tanks should not soak in one meteor, they should alternate. The first meteor that gets soaked, a tear will appear. Melee class, please limit break that tear. That should take down most of its health. Everyone else focus DPSing it. Afterwards, it's just a rinse and repeat of mechanics until you kill them. Jeez Louise. Secret a-hole, man.
You're safe. Thank the 12.
You may have bested me this day, but what of the next? What of all the days to come? Remember, light no longer holds sway here. I may return whensoever I wish, again and again and again. Eventually, you will falter, and the staff will be mine. Until next time, scions.
There will be no next time. This is the end.
What trickery is this? No! No! You cannot! No!
Use Tube Samati to gather ether! Quickly! Before he breaks free! Concentrate! Call to mind the time you struck down La Habrea with the Blade of Light! Why won't it work? Is it because we lack the blessing of light?
Damn it. So much ether. And it still isn't enough.
Fools! No mortal prison can contain me! I shall make you pay for your insolence!
Please, Mother Heidelin, hearken to our plea. Lend us your divine light. Why can you not hear us? Do our words no longer reach you?
If only we had a bit more ether.
Moenbryda, what are you doing?
Master Louisoix, I understand now. The choice you made in death. There is life. Farewell, Urianger. You daft old coot.
Moenbryda, no! You mustn't!
What? No! It cannot end! I am eternal! I am immortal!
Moenbryda. She's gone. You did it, my friend. The Ascian is dead. This device is a legacy of Moenbryda's toils and sacrifice. I shall hold on to it for safekeeping.
Minfilia, are you all right?
I am.
Oh, we were surveying northern Thanalan when we received the distress call. We returned as swiftly as we were able.
It seems you have everything in hand, however.
What happened here? Where is Moenbryda?
She gave her life to temper the Blade of Light. I have no words.
Rather than await the inevitable, she took her fate into her own hands.
Does Urianger know?
My friend, there is something I must tell you.
I heard all, my lady. The moon sinketh, taking her leave of the heavens. Yet her passing heraldeth the coming of a new day. Moenbryda hath fulfilled her destiny, hath she not? Long ago, far across the seas in the Garlean motherland, Moenbryda and I did study under the sage tutelage of Master Louisoix. Full oft did he impress upon us that knowledge existeth to serve the greater good. This sentiment, however, was contrary to the nation's policy of neutrality, which censured intercedence in the affairs of foreign lands. In spite of vehement opposition, he founded the Circle of Knowing, and journeyed hitherto the heart of Eorzea. Through his noble sacrifice was the realm spared its doom. Yet this great soul, whom all should rightly have honored, was branded a pariah in his own land. His peers did accuse him of forsaking his duty as a man of learning, and of meddling in the course of history. When he left Garlean behind, Master Louisoix gave no word to signal his intent to Moenbryda. Close as they were, as master and disciple, she was deeply wounded by the sudden exclusion from his confidence. Above all, however, she was confused. Try as she might, she could ill comprehend her master's motive. The slanders that were heaped upon him after his passing served only to inflame the turmoil within her. For years upon end, she knew not what to believe. Torn as she was twixt the man whom she revered, and the man who forsook her and his duty both.
The Louisoix I knew would never forsake his duty, much less one of his own.
This I know full well, my lady. 'Twas not for want of love that Master Louisoix hid his intent. He but desired that Moenbryda discover her own path, free of the shadow of his influence. Long did I contemplate revealing the truth to her, and long did I hold my peace. After all, was it not Master Louisoix's wish that she come to the truth unaided? I told myself it was, and resolved to let her suffer. Knowingly did I deny my friend the comfort she craved. And now she hath gone to her rest, with doubt still in her heart. Speakest thou in earnest? Did Moenbryda truly come to understand Master Louisoix's will before the end? The realization hath set her free. She may now find the peace which hath for so long eluded her. Oh, Moenbryda, my dearest, how I shall miss thee.
Moenbryda gave her life that we might possess the means to defeat the Ascians. Her sacrifice must not be in vain. Let us continue her work on the Blade of Ether and see it to completion.
My lady, I would mourn Moenbryda in mine own way. I beg your permission to return to the Waking Sands.
Of course, my friend. Take all the time you require. We shall be here should you have need of us.
Never have I seen Roaille so utterly defeated. No one should be made to suffer such grief. We shall gather in the Garlean manor to celebrate Moenbryda's life and mourn her passing. In memory of Moenbryda, Minfilia wishes to gather the scions and honor the fallen Moenbryda. As Moenbryda was a native of Garlean, I feel it only fitting that we gather before the mark of the scholar. Are you familiar with the stone? 'Tis a monument found at Rathfrost, and is sacred to Thaliak, the garden deity of the City of the Learning. There shall we pray for our dear friend's soul, and bid her a peaceful return to the light of the Mother Crystal.
Forgive me, Moenbryda. Had I been quicker or wiser. But I was not, and you paid the price. But you would not suffer us to wallow in our sorrow, would you? You would tell us to pick ourselves up and get on with it. And so we shall. We shall defend this realm and her people to the last.
Life for death, a fair exchange. Other bargains will be struck.
So thank you for joining me for this installment of my Final Fantasy XIV story playthrough. I hope it was enjoyable, aside from my poor job at voice acting. As always, feel free to give feedback in the comments below or just to say hi. I may not respond, but I do read all of my comments. Feel free to follow links to my socials below and drop by Twitch to say hi there too. Tap that sub button if you want to see what I'm up to on YouTube, and as always, thank you for watching. I hope you all take care. I hope to see you guys for the next video. Until then, stay safe and ciao.